"You're going to die soon," the healer whispered. His words echoed in my head, even as I tried to tell myself it couldn't be true. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel anything but scared. This happened 6 years ago, but I still can't forget it. It wasn't me they said had the sickness, it was my cousin, Kofi. Kofi was only 22, full of life. He worked at a small car shop in the city and came home to the village every month to visit his mother. Everyone loved him. He was kind, always joking, always laughing. One day, he came back, but he wasn't the same. His jokes were gone, and he looked thin, almost like a shadow of himself. At first, we thought maybe the city work was too hard. But then his mother found a piece of paper in his bag. It was from a clinic, and it said HIV positive. When she showed me, my heart dropped. I didn't understand much about the sickness, but in our village, everyone said it was a death sentence. People with it were cursed or immoral. They were supposed to be avoided. Kofi's mother begged me to talk to him. She said I was the only one he might listen to. So I did. I found him sitting under the big mango tree near the edge of the village, staring at nothing. He told me he had gone to the clinic in the city after feeling tired for weeks. They did some blood tests and told him he had HIV. They handed him some pills and sent him away. He said the shame was worse than the sickness. His boss fired him when he found out, and some of his friends stopped answering his calls. "Maybe it's my punishment," he said, "for the things I've done." I didn't know what to say. I didn't even know what he meant. But I told him to go back to the clinic for another test. Maybe they made a mistake. He just shook his head and said he didn't want to know. That's when his mother brought the village healer. The healer was an old man who claimed to know secrets about life and death. He had this small bag filled with powders and bones, and he smelled like smoke. He told Kofi he was cursed, not sick. That someone jealous of him had sent the sickness through the air to destroy him. Kofi didn't believe him at first, but the healer kept coming back. He told Kofi the only way to break the curse was to drink a special mixture every day and avoid all human contact for 40 days. No hugs, no handshakes, nothing. Kofi did it. He locked himself in his mother's house, drinking that awful smelling mixture every day. But instead of getting better, he got worse. He stopped eating. His face looked hollow, and his eyes always seemed far away. The worst part. Everyone in the village started to avoid him, even people who had loved him. Some of them even whispered that the curse might spread. I couldn't stand it anymore. One day, I took Kofi back to the city myself. I dragged him to a better clinic, one I heard about from a friend. He didn't want to go, but I made him. This time, the doctor took more blood tests. When the results came back, the doctor frowned. "Kofi," he said, "you don't have HIV. Your first test must have been a mistake." We both stared at him, not understanding. How could that happen? How could they be wrong about something so big? But the doctor explained that sometimes, false positives happen. That's why they always recommend a second test, something Kofi was too scared to do before. I wanted to be happy, but I couldn't. Kofi had wasted months of his life living in fear, drinking poison from the healer, and being treated like a ghost by his own people. He didn't even smile when the doctor told him he was okay. It's been years now, and Kofi is better. He's back at work in the city, and he's gained back his weight. But he never comes to the village anymore. He says the people there will always see him as the cursed one. I still think about how easily it all happened. One wrong diagnosis, one piece of paper, and it almost destroyed his life. It makes me wonder how many others might go through the same thing, believing they are doomed when they are not.